First, we have approval of minutes. We have two sets of minutes, one for July and one for August. We'll start with the July 21st one. I'll need a motion on those.
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
And a second. Discussion. All in favor of the minutes for 21 July, say aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Moving to August, which is a very short one. Need a motion on that one.
I'll make the motion.
Need a motion, is there a second?
I'll second.
Here in a second. And we had that, I think you pointed out, we have one personnel, 1, 2, 3, 4, down to executive session, Cheryl, that personnel should be personnel, not personal. With that minor change, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Against, motion carries. Moving to the bill list, we also have two different bill lists. We'll start with the August one we have in there. I'll need a motion on the bill list, and that's the one with $188,000.
I'll make the motion, we pay the bills dated August 18th, 2025 for $188,286.75.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Here in a second. Further discussion?
Just want to point out, sorry. We do have our $9,000 retainer to Dilworth Paxson. We also are still paying for the, appeal on Smola. And that adds up. And, I do see, again, 409-600 Chester Valley Engineers for Municipal Complex without seeing any kind of, budget for capital improvements. It's just my comments.
So which ones are you saying you're against? The 9,000 special counsel, which other ones? That's on the
Well, Belwar Kelly,
page, hold on just a second. That's on the first page, so the 9,000, what was the other one? You said,
Chester Valley Engineers.
which one?
Well, it's, 409-600, and the other one, 409-600. There's two, 2,000 and one's 15,396.
Okay. Those three items, and you said something about the appellant action?
Pardon me?
You said something about the appellant action on,
Yeah, Belwar Kelly, special counsel.
which one is that one?
404-314.
Both those.
Mm-hmm.
What was the?
Please use a microphone, can't hear you.
What was the objection to the Chester Valley Engineers? I'm sorry, I missed that. I was looking at the wrong list.
We have this 409-600 or 406-900.
Yeah.
Yeah, and on the bills, on the front, you know, capital construction, nothing. I mean, what comes under capital construction? It's not on the balance sheet either. I'm just stating, okay? I don't mean,
That's fine, all right.
okay, thank you.
I don't think that gets there until we approve it, but I'm not sure, so, all right, good.
Okay, and you understand that Boyles has the budget for that. We have whole complete control of the budget, and these are also flowing as we establish control, which we will do, to the point where we have a separate one, and maybe even process a money market fund where you write checks out with directly from the CRIM to use those funds for all this project once it gets rolling.
So basically, we're using the CRIM account to pay these.
Yes.
Yes.
So eventually, the monies will be transferred from CRIM to general fund to cover those expenses. At the point that we're gonna move those funds, we will probably need an authorization from the board, but I'll defer to Eric on that.
Yeah, and the point there is we want to maximize investments, because as you understand, the general fund does not pay very much at all, whereas the CRIM. All right, okay, so we had a motion on this one. We pointed out which ones. Dave, did you want to point out the ones you're against?
No, just, Belwar County.
you're against, that's the only one?
Yeah, for special council.
That's the only one you're against? And that's 404-134, got it?
Yeah.
But you voted for the special counsel.
What's that?
You voted for the special counsel. It was 4-1. And you don't wanna pay it now?
No. I voted against it for months.
Please use the microphone, Dave, we can't hear you.
No, I voted against it for months.
I'm looking on page 3 of the minutes for 21 July, that we just approved. Last one, before public comments, discuss and consider approval of special counsel for new litigation matters. That's when we appointed. Cause some of that's gonna be litigation, is that one? You're for that one, but you're against the Smola one?
Say that again.
You're for the Gilbertsville special counsel, but against the Smola one?
No, I'm against both of them.
Is everybody look? Right here. Dave, I'm looking on page 3 of the 21 July.
Minutes, not
Minutes.
until the-
That's my vote, Trace.
But you were for it when we voted on July 21st, is that correct?
Again, that's my vote. I vote against it.
Dave, I don't understand, you voted for it here, you're against it on the bill list, is
Yeah,
that
when
right?
I realized what it was, that ever since then, I've been voting against it.
Okay, so we got everybody's input on that one. All in favor of the bill list, say aye. Aye. Against?
Nay.
So that's August 18th. All right, we got September 15th. Bill list, 251,391.46. I need a motion on that one?
I'll make that motion for 251,391.46.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Further discussion on this one?
Again, Belmar Kelly, for the special counsel for the, appeal of Smola.
Appeal Smola, not Gilbertsville.
Not
They're
Gilbertsville.
hand on both of those.
Well,
Is that correct?
the other one I was gonna talk about was Montgomery County Conservation District, for 2290 Gilbertsville. Technical review fee, that was paid on 8/22/25. Was that done before?
Which one you were looking at?
I'm back on the first page.
First page, September, where at?
22nd, it's 1, 2, 3, 4th from the top. Was that done before the, lawsuit was filed? It says 8/22. Was that submitted after the lawsuit was filed? Or before?
This one you gotta pay in for 22, August.
Mm-hmm.
Is it after?
Yeah, I think it was after.
All right,
Could you
so-
use the microphone, please?
So that one with the 2,000,
I don't know if it was
$2,000.
submitted,
I think
is
it was submitted.
probably was submitted before the actual application was probably submitted, because that takes,
So
couple
we
months
submit it
to-
electronically,
right.
and then we prepare the checks, and the checks go with the paper submission. Like they hand deliver it to,
Okay,
it's
so the work was,
electronically submitted, and then the checks are cut later for the actual full packet paper
Right,
submission.
but
to
the work was
conference.
completed before the lawsuit was filed?
That I can't confirm.
Okay.
What is the significance of the lawsuit filing?
We shouldn't, it's the expense that we're incurring on everything. Because if we did something after the lawsuit was filed, we should have just put the brakes on everything. That's my opinion,
Well,
and I honestly, that's my opinion.
and you're okay then with the bottom of the, I mean, we have Bolton Construction, we have, James Kearney,
Actually, I wasn't gonna bring that up, but really I'm not.
all right, well,
Okay, so I'm just saying, these are some of the things.
this, this project is basically a train, and you just can't stop it on a dime, and I know you know this. And I almost fault myself for something I have failed to communicate clearly to the, I don't know why, I've said this in the last, second to last meeting. I said this in court, it's not coming through clear enough. What this lawsuit potentially could mean to the taxpayers is devastating, and we're all kind of shrugging it off as, it's, it's possibly a $5 million hit, and that's on the conservative side. Eric and I had talked about this prior to the court date, it's between 5 and 9. Okay, I think we can argue if we had to stop this project, we owe about $5 million, or we have $5 million in equity. Well, that is not monopoly money, okay? That is a crushing tax burden on Upper Pottsgrove taxpayers. And maybe I'll put it in a perspective that everybody could hopefully understand. This loss, or this hit in equity, is equal to a 100% tax hike, and we have to hold that for 5 years. So what you're paying in the township side of your property taxes, that's a 100% increase for about 5 years. Or, okay, we'll spread it over time. 50% tax increase for 10 years. That's what a win in this lawsuit looks like to the plaintiffs that have brought this. Everybody's property taxes are gonna double for at least half a decade. And I can hear the hems and haws, but that is the reality. We cannot stop this project. And, in the second we have, in 20 minutes, we have second public comment coming. If one of the plaintiffs are here, I saw one walk in, I'd like to ask them to explain to us how a $5 million hit to the taxpayers is a good thing. I am very passionate about this because we did everything by the numbers on this, okay? Everything. And I hope people understand what happens if this project gets stopped. Oh, it's gonna be a great political win. I think it's a dumpster fire for them at this point. But guys, that's a $5 million hit, and the next board of commissioners is gonna have to negotiate that out with these contractors, and these contractors have done their job. They're gonna be harmed. They have done nothing wrong in this project. They've given us great numbers. I don't want to let them out of this. If you look at some of these bids, I don't know how they went that low. And anyways, I'm just gonna say, folks, this could be a crushing defeat for Upper Pottsgrove. Not the Republicans, not anybody else. This could be a crushing defeat, 100% tax, equal to 100% tax raise. And then maybe that'll put in people's perspective. I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, or Mr. President, for taking so long, so.
Just to answer back, I think I did advocate not to award the bids so quickly. And you did. And I voted against it
Based
because.
on what?
Based on, I thought it was too quick of a decision. You have been privy to a lot of information that Dave and I have not been.
6 years we've been talking about this complex. Is that fast? Is that too quick?
I just wanna comment on not privy to information. So I just wanna make the record clear that this township manager, Michelle Reddick, has notified all commissioners via email that they are more than welcome to come in the office and look at any plans, any documents, anything related to the new municipal complex. And I'd like that on the record, please. Thank you.
My comments were not directed specifically towards you, it's just general. This is a major, this is potentially a major hit, but I think we're gonna be fine. but I just wanna, again, I don't wanna make this personal, but it is personal. I pay tax, everybody in this room pays taxes in there. Thank you.
So, I mean, this is a good point in any. So what Don's talking about is, the suit was dropped. We lose the suit. If someone cancels a project, we have to pay off the contractors. And talking to our council, that could be anywhere from $5 to $9 million for canceled contractors. And we have $10 million to build whatever we're gonna build. So I'd really like to know, is your intent to cancel this project?
No.
Good.
No, it's not to cancel the project.
Yes.
It's just that the spending of money is just ridiculous. It needs to stop. I don't understand why we can't talk to the other side, get them to pull it. I don't know. I don't know, because you've just barreled along. We should have waited 1 month to maybe award the bids. I don't know. It's just it's all the money that was spent when we weren't supposed to put a shovel in the ground or spend a penny on Smola, and we did. You know, and now we were told not to spend any money on Gilbertsville.
Who said that?
I was there at the hearing.
What?
I was at the hearing. I know what the decision was. We're not supposed to go forward. What are we supposed to do? You talked to me on the way out. We're having,
Just once for Eric answered, there's no injunction right now, and there wasn't even.
no, there isn't an
Wait a minute,
injunction
there was
in
no-
lieu, wait
There
a
was
minute.
no injunction before we started.
No,
And
there
we moved-
wasn't.
We moved forward with the project as it was planned, and this was a political move to sue
Well,
us.
of course
to see
it's a
if they-
political
Yeah,
move, and you
absolutely.
should have seen that
So,
coming.
go ahead and answer the question.
So I was gonna report this during my report, but during the hearing, the judge did not issue the injunction, but the order does include the clause that we don't do any substantial construction. So it was explained to the judge that we still had permitting and studies to do, that there could be grading or something that was something less than building the building. And the judge says, as long as it's not substantial construction, we can continue to move on until the court date, which is set for October 17th.
Right.
So, and basically the judge jumped on the township's offer to have a quick trial on this. So we asked the judge to have a quick trial because there is so much at risk, and the judge jumped on that, and actually tried to schedule it in September. It just didn't work out by the calendar, so October 17th was the first time that the parties were available to actually appear before the court. So it's set up for October 17th, and we're gonna press the court to give us a decision as quickly as possible in the hopes that we can continue to keep building. But there is no stop
I
right
would
now.
like to keep building too, and
Good.
it's just the fact too that if we would have bought it with general funds too, you know, looking back is hindsight's 50-50, right? So what are you gonna do? I
No,
just
that's-
can't move from my
That's not true, that
point.
was a tactical move. Kathy, you keep saying that, and you.
And
well, had the
I
foresight
heard
for
Don
general fund,
say
and
it was
seems
a
like it was
strategic
they
plan,
went ahead
and I
went
did
ahead
not
and moved.
hear
Kathy, I'm
strategic
speaking.
plan.
I'm speaking, Kathy.
I'm too, I am too.
If the general fund was used for that person for an option to move, we would have saved the township $500,000 if we went with the Samoa. That didn't happen, we picked the option, still moving forward with the actual appeal, because that ties up all 300+ acres we have if the appeal, when the appeal is actually action in Commonwealth Court. So we did do that, and that was the right move, and just because you said it should have used general fund, no, if we would have, Samoa would have been out $500,000.
Well, how are we not out 500? We paid open space back. Where'd that money come from?
What do you mean, where it came from?
We paid,
We wrote the
Open
check out of the
space.
general fund
right,
and paid the open space fund, yes. And if it didn't happen, then the general fund wouldn't have to pay that amount.
so you're saying that we wouldn't have enough money in the general fund?
I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying that $500,000 was out of the general fund, paid open space fund.
Right. We should have paid it from general fund to begin with, and then
No,
we
they
could move
wouldn't
forward.
have the option.
Whatever.
I'm not
See, that's-
following, I'm
that's
not
just-
following, I'm
Yeah,
not
I
following.
understand. Okay, Dave, what, your position on this? Are you gonna, in favor of pulling the plug on the project after we sign a contract?
Like I said from day one, we need I agree that we do need a building. And as far as my trying to stop Gilbertsville Road, no, I never tried to stop it. My question has always been, buying it with general funds compared to open space funds.
And we did buy it with general funds.
Well, we're in court now, we'll see how it's ruled. I don't know what else to say.
And then, you know, and Don did brought up, we got some great bids on this.
Agree?
Yeah, it was really nice, the way they came together with all 5 contracts that we approved on this.
Well, I thought the bottom line came in cheaper than I thought.
Yeah, absolutely.
My problem is not that. My problem is how we bought the land.
Okay, so I understand then you guys are not trying to stop the project, so you are for that. Okay, good, that's all good. All right, did we get all the ones on here? Did Kathy, we identify the ones you were, yeah, I understand it was a $2,000 one, is that the only one? Cause you kinda commented on the bottom.
And Belmar Kelly, the appeal was smaller.
I'm sorry?
Belmar Kelly, the appeal was smaller. Belmar Kelly, what was that?
The Belvoir one.
That's only $170, but
Yeah,
still, it's the one.
So we got 2, is that correct?
Yes.
All right, we had a motion and a second on this one, had discussion, all in favor of paying the bail list for September 15th? Say aye. Aye? Against?
Nay.
Okay. Reports, Township Manager, Michelle, please.
Oh, there we go. My report is in your packet. I don't really have anything to highlight. Just wanna remind the community about Community Day next Saturday, September 27th, from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Heather Place Park. Also included in your, packet is the August 31st, 2025 financial report. I do need to point out that on page 1 of the balance sheet for general fund, we do need to make some corrections to fix some entries. And then the same, holds true on open space, fund as well. There are some things that are shown on one side and not on the other, and that's just a matter of a missed entry, so we will correct those and send you an updated report. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
I do see on the balance sheet, and you look, take a look at the general fund, you see we're approaching 10 million on the CRIM account. Again, those are all T-bills, short-term, 4-year, run on all those as they mature. The rest is a money market, a couple basis points cheaper than the T-bills. So that's all good, that continues to move forward, that's higher than anything else we have. The other funds are very low interest rate, interest bearing. So also take a look at understanding on the open space fund, we still have a outstanding debt from open space to general of around 700,000. Good. Any
Sorry,
questions?
Trace, I forgot to point out one other thing. So if you notice that you do have additional spreadsheets outlining the legal fees, for the new lawsuits that we received.
Okay. Now, chief.
Yeah, the chief's report's in your packet. 2 things to note. The cop camp that we held in August 14th was a success from all the responses we got afterwards. And we also in August hired a new officer. He is fresh out of the academy. His name is Jaime Ortega, and he is doing a great job progressing nicely through his FTO already.
Thanks, Al. Questions for chief? Thanks, Al. Public Works, Jeremy.
Yes. My report is in your packet. I would just like to highlight that Public Works has been working diligently to get caught up on a couple jobs and projects that we have fallen behind on in the past few months. If you have any questions, feel free to ask.
Questions for the Public Works Director?
Just a comment, I haven't seen so many pieces of potholes covered, everything's patched. I mean, I've been driving around this township for other reasons, up toward the state service street, and it's all over the place, and they're patched everywhere. I don't think I've ever seen it like that.
Good job.
You guys do a good job out there, thank you very much.
Thanks, Jeremy. Township Solicitor, Eric.
So I did report on Taylor, during the bill list. If there are any questions on that, I can go over those. But I will, other than that, I would like to have an exec session, just briefly to talk about, the steel safe appeals, and then the artisan, 2A appeals as well, 2A and 2B. I don't expect any action, but there may be some announcements after it, so I'd like to do it while the meeting's still going.
Okay. Township engineer,
I
your packet.
have a question for Aaron. With the lawsuit again, can you just restate what order are we under at this point?
So,
And you know, there's a lot of people here who have no idea what we're talking about.
okay. So, just to put it in perspective, what it was is the township, voted to move forward with the municipal complex on Gilbertsville Road. The township went out to bid earlier this year. They actually awarded those bids in June, I believe. And then in signed contracts, and then the complaint was filed in July to stop the complex from being built on Gilbertsville Road, similar to what was done previously on the Smolla Farm property. There was a hearing, there's an emergency hearing held on that matter as the three plaintiffs requested an injunction to stop the development. The court did not issue that injunction, but the order did three things. One, it said no injunctions being issued. However, the township should not do any substantial construction on the site. And the discussion with the judge was essentially we can keep doing our studies, planning, permitting, that whole process. And if we got to a point that we're ready to do some general thing, I think we had already told the judge that we had already laid some electric lines or something like that, and we upgraded some electric in the house. The judge was fine with things like that happening. And there's possibly some other site things that could happen out there if the permits come into play before October 17th. And that's the last thing the judge did was pursuant to our request to have a hearing as soon as possible because of the risk to the township. The judge agreed to have the hearing on October 17th. It actually offered, I think, September 5th and 6th, but that was right around the holiday, and a bunch of people had vacation scheduled around Labor Day. So we bumped it to October 17th. We're gearing up for that trial right now.
Good, and I'd like to add just maybe a slightly different perspective because of what I've heard tonight. And I think, we're more in agreement than we're not, and, I just like to add the perspective of this for the public. What we are really talking about here is a bookkeeping entry from 10 months ago that was approved in a public meeting, an adjusting entry. You just heard Michelle say she's gonna be doing adjusting entries on the balance sheet. I mean, this is an accounting entry. That's what the case is coming down to. I've heard no one say they don't want it built there. Matter of fact, in the hearing, the plaintiff said they have absolutely no problem with it. The problem is that we paid from general funds. That was it. They said it like 3 times in there. There's
More than 3 times.
Huh?
More than 3 times.
Well, I only read half of it. But, the only issue that was raised is how we funded it. And let's remember, we bought this property over 1.5 years ago with the intended purpose of 2 things. Stopping any developer from putting a bunch of homes up there. And the second thing was for an alternate site. That is not even in dispute. Again, that was our intended purpose. Do we think we're gonna need it? I don't know. But at least, working with 2 veterans, they always have backup plans, and that's why we bought it. If someone tries to, argue otherwise, which I think they can try, as of November 2024, this Board of Commissioners officially voted to do that adjusting entry and make that a primary site. I don't think anybody disagrees with that. Even the plaintiffs don't disagree with that. And I'm gonna just read you one thing from the hearing, from the transcripts. This is Eric questioning Mr. Taylor. So are you aware in November that the township was considering the use of Gilbertsville property as a free municipal complex? Answer, yes. Okay, that was the whole purpose of making the entry. So they knew in November, clearly in November, that this was going to be the primary site. And again, there was other questions about putting it out to bid. I don't think they're disputing that. However, this is what my point I wanna come around and make, and I don't think even maybe some commissioners know this. You know, 8 months later, after we made the primary site, after we advertised the project, after we spent a lot of money preparing those bids, and it was a lot more than I thought it would be. We awarded the contracts, we locked in binding contracts, or binding agreements, with 5 contractors, putting out roughly $5 million in equity in this project. That's when they filed their complaint. There was no warning letter, there was no warning emails, there wasn't even a phone call. I know that one citizen had an issue, I know one commissioner did, but we got nothing from the plaintiffs. And there's a term out there that maybe people aren't familiar with, it's called latches. Something I've learned about in this case. And what that means, if the plaintiffs, and maybe Eric will explain it better if I butcher this thing, but they waited too long to file this claim, and it caused harm to our taxpayers. And the harm is measured in about $5 million, and that's, again, a guess. The law does not reward delay, neither should this public. And to me, this whole thing, and I said it from day one, is a political stunt. I think Kathy and I just agreed on that. And I think it backfired wholly, and backfired badly on it, you know. But I'm going to invite, we all saw the news this week, I'm gonna say something that Charlie Kirk would say. I invite the plaintiffs to prove me wrong that this was not a political stunt. And we have, in 15 minutes, we have second public comment. They can prepare their thoughts, and maybe they can tell us why this is, nothing but a drag on our taxpayers. And thank you.
Yeah, I think they're not correct in assuming that, or the conversation they had, that one of the plaintiffs brought up that there was some type of process issue with it. On when it happened, with the purchase of the ground right, this, like you mentioned, is adjusting entry. And as I learned and kind of did some research and had some good folks tell me some past things that happened before 2018, when a lot of this ground was purchased, the law clearly says you have to have a hearing for these things. And when we took a look at it, we couldn't find where hearings were made before purchase of open space ground. Does that make all that ground no longer open space? It's gonna be an interesting question. It's a violation of the processing and a violation of the law if that in fact happened. So if that's true, we'll see how that would go as well. If these plaintiffs filing and are running for office at the same time, wanting to save the taxpayer money, we got costs involved with this, and a couple of them, commissioners here actually voted against our special counsel on this thing, but we were sued and we're defending ourselves on this stuff. This is the best ground. We had a backup plan as our other one goes through the Commonwealth Court. We can't wait any longer. It's important to have good facilities for our employees, and we will continue to move forward until we're told to stop. Did anybody else want to talk on this one, as we were already talking about it?
I do one more thing. I want to say, Eric, I meant to say this in the beginning. I want to thank you for diving into this. I also thank Trace for letting me take the lead on this, on the defense, at least on the preliminary. And Eric, you did a fantastic job. You covered every angle. We went in there with 2 objectives. You came out with 4. And the 2 that were not mentioned, I'll mention after the trial. But you did a great job. You know, this cost us about $20,000 to get this done between counsel, special counsel, and other, probably more. But you know, we're talking $5 to $9 million. That's a rounding error in that. But Eric, I can't tell you, I think it was the best work you've done yet, and you prepped me well for that. There wasn't much to say. I mean, they practice cross-examination, and their only cross-examination to me, so you're building a building? Yes, that was the total cross-examination. Like, I was disappointed because I was ready, but thank you, Eric,
Thank you,
for your
Tom.
work.
Thank you.
Anybody else on this one? Okay. If there's no more questions for the list, we're gonna move on to township engineer reports that are on your packet. Michelle, anything you wanna add from the engineer reports?
Just if the commissioners can pay attention to pages 3 and 4 of the building and zoning report, there are some updates there, that Paul has noted. And, we'll be dealing with the 1178 Commerce Drive and exec session.
Thanks, Michelle. A tax collector. Nothing heard on tax collector. Committee chair reports, open space and rec, Craig?
Good evening, everyone. My report's in your packet. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. I would like to highlight that we asked, the board to consider, item F under new business later in the meeting.
Questions for open space? Thank you, Greg. Fire and ambulance, Don. Don. Okay, in your packet, you have the reports, you have the personnel accounts showing, participation as well. If you have any, commissioners have any, issues, pass them on to Michelle and she'll get them to Don. Okay, moving on to old business.